Good morning. I'm Tammy Hawley, Press Secretary to Mayor Dwight Jones. Thank you for joining us this morning for this press conference related to the Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority. We're going to begin this morning's press conference with comments from Mayor Dwight Jones. He'll be followed by RRHA Board Chair James Carlton, who will introduce you to the new CEO of the RRHA. Thank you.
Well, good morning. And thank you, Tammy. It's a delight to be here, and we want to welcome the members of the board of the Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority who are here, Ms. Chomley, and to Mr. Carlton, the chair of that board, and to all of you who have come. It's good when I have the opportunity to share some good news about the direction of the city and to share a little bit about the progress that we're making in moving the city forward. And today the good news relates to the Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority and the new leadership that we have been able to attain for the Housing Authority. I have not been shy about making it clear that our intentions are to have a very strong housing authority. A strong and technically proficient authority is absolutely essential for us to reduce the concentration of poverty in our city. Serving the 19,000 residents and the citizens of our city is an extremely important job. And if we're going to be successful in eradicating the city's public housing as we know it today, it's going to take a strong partnership, because the city can't do it by itself. The housing authority can't do it by itself. It's going to have to include the schools. It's going to have to include the business community. It's going to have to include the philanthropic entities in the area. And so in many ways, we've begun to lay the foundation for transformational change in our city. In my budget last week, we included in the CIP money for work to begin in Creighton and Wickham, and we're hoping to partner with the Housing Authority to change those communities into mixed income and mixed use communities. We put in $5 million for pre-development money, and we're hoping that these monies will help to generate additional private and public investment and help to move the redevelopment of these communities forward in the near distant future. In North Richmond and Highland Park, we have worked with you and you have worked with us in making plans for Dove Court, and we look forward to the redevelopment of the former Dove Street public housing project there. And this spring, the development partner is going to break ground for the first 80 units of a 300-unit complex. And a part of great communities has to do with great schools. And so we're also proposing for the Dove Street redevelopment a new school to replace the outmoded Overby Shepherd School. Our proposal is to provide a new school to anchor that development. And so from my vantage point today, we've got some serious work to do and some exciting times ahead. And today's announcement concerning the leadership of the Housing Authority, for me, is an indication that we've reached a turning point. We need leadership that has the capacity to deliver in key areas like real estate development, financial management, and procurement. And today's announcement, I'm confident that we are beginning to build that capacity. I want to say from the outset that we're delighted to have the cooperation that we've had with the Housing Authority, and we really believe that we're on the right track as we work together to move the city forward in these areas. And so at this time, I'm going to yield to Jim Carlton, who's the chair of the board. He's going to make some comments, and he's also going to introduce the new CEO. Jim?
Thank you very much, Mayor Jones. And Mayor, we also think we're on the right track, and I thank you very much for your comments, and we have greatly appreciated the opportunity to work with you and your team. Today, on behalf of my fellow commissioners, I'm exceedingly proud to announce that we have concluded a search process, which has taken nearly 9 or 10 months, and we have found, through a nationwide search, a new CEO, Adrian Goolsby, who's behind me. And before I get into some of Adrian's background, I'd like to thank a few people who have significantly contributed to finding, recruiting, and attracting Adrian to our great city. And many of you may know that the Board of Commissioners are tasked with the responsibility of hiring and evaluating the CEO. I think hiring the CEO is probably our most critical and most important decision as the commissioners of the Board of the Housing Authority. And in that regard, the commissioners decided immediately upon the resignation of our prior CEO that we wanted to include some outside members on our search committee. And we started talking, who should those individuals be? And we said, number one, our primary partner. We work, while we are a subdivision of the Commonwealth of Virginia, we work most closely with the city. Our task and our goal is to serve our city, our most needy citizens in the community. And we want to work collaboratively with the mayor's administration. And so we thought, who would be the best person for that role? And the mayor was kind enough to share his chief administrative officer, Mr. Byron Marshall. So I want to thank Mr. Marshall for his time and significant commitment. So thank you. As many of you may know, probably most don't know, over 50% of our public housing residents are under the age of 18. So it's very critical that we have a strong working relationship with the public school system here. Any decision we make directly impacts the school system. So the next decision we made, who would be a great search committee member, would be the superintendent of schools, Dr. Yvonne Brandon. And she was kind and gracious enough to give us a significant amount of her time during a very difficult time for her with the budgetary constraints and the other issues that she's facing. But Dr. Brandon served on the committee, and along with Mr. Marshall, gave us incredible amounts of time. I'd also like to thank my fellow commissioners, Mr. Orlando Artsy, who is the chair of the Real Estate Committee, and the immediate past chairman, Mr. Elliot Harrigan. We had two special advisors on our committee, Commissioner Olds, who served in a special capacity, and Renee Glover, who is the CEO of the Atlanta Housing Authority, who has done great things in the city of Atlanta, transforming that city. So those were some of the participants that we had in finding Adrian. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our interim CEO, Maxine Chumley. Through Maxine's strong, effective, and principled leadership, it gave the search committee the opportunity to take the time to do the right search and not just go out and just hire quickly without a thorough, thoughtful, very, very thorough process to get the right candidates. And so Maxine, thank you so much for what you have done for our authority for the last 10 months in leading our organization in such an exemplary manner. I can't thank you enough. So thank you. Once we had the opportunity to do this in the right way, we decided to engage a search firm, Anderson & Associates, a renowned and prominent firm that has found other heads of housing authorities and works in a variety of boutique areas, including the housing authorities. And Mr. Doug Anderson, he helped us in many different ways. One way is, rather than us just deciding internally who would be our best CEO, he helped us conduct some listening opportunities. We wanted to listen to what other people, our key constituency holders, had to say about what we needed for our CEO. So we had an external group come in, including HUD, Better Housing Coalition, and Reframe, to name just a few, to talk to us about how we could better partner and accomplish the mission and the objective of improving housing in the city of Richmond. We also held numerous meetings with our employees. We held a variety of meetings with we held one meeting with the RTO, and thank you, Marilyn, for leading that. And we held a variety of other meetings with a number of other key constituency holders, like Dr. Graham, head of social services here for the city of Richmond. So we got lots of input as to the type of CEO, and this, from my perspective, was critical in identifying the characteristics and the skill sets that we needed to be successful. Our search firm also made contact and had contacts in a variety of ways and had over 1,000 contacts in finding Adrian. I was going to talk next about our candidates' accomplishments, but before I did that, I thought I might start actually by giving you a little bit of perspective about her educational and other work experiences, because I think that will then lead or provide some level of background as to her many accomplishments. Adrian is from Atlanta, graduated from Spelman College with a major in chemistry. But that wasn't enough for Adrian. Adrian minored in mathematics and physics. Then Adrian went on to Boston College, and Boston University, and she majored.
I was getting ready to be impressed that
Yeah,
you remember.
yeah. Thank you. She then majored in manufacturing engineering, but again, that wasn't enough. She minored in management. She then went out into the working world and worked for one of the most prominent consulting firms in the world, McKinsey. McKinsey is a phenomenal company. She worked there for 2 years and then went back to MBA school, and not just any MBA school. Adrian attended Kellogg, the MBA program at Kellogg, which is the MBA program at Northwestern University. This is one of the finest, most renowned universities in the entire United States. In fact, I'd say the entire world. She then, upon graduation with her MBA, she went back to work with McKinsey and worked there for another 4 years. So she has a pattern of starting something and finishing something. And she created her own company after her tenure with McKinsey, and then she went to the Chicago Housing Authority. And she has been there for not 1 or 2 years, but for 11 years. And I think that again says something a lot about her character and her commitment to follow through and get things done. During her career at the Chicago Housing Authority for 11 years, you need to understand Chicago Housing Authority is the 3rd largest housing authority in the United States. The Chicago Housing Authority, many years ago, about 10 years or so ago, was in a way similar to Richmond. They had these notorious high-rises. They had scattered vacant real estate sites. They had housing projects that were exclusively government funded. Well, with Adrian's leadership at the Chicago Housing Authority, they developed, initiated, and concluded what's called a transformational plan, where those notorious high-rises were taken down and beautiful garden-type apartments were constructed in their place. Scattered sites were redeveloped and new homeowners moved in. And finally, she was able to successfully transition from the traditional model, which is no longer viable under funding that was no longer completely viable under the funding coming from the Washington. She transformed to a public-private partnership, which is the vision and the direction that the highest performing housing authorities are going in. And I'm very confident that Adrian's leadership will continue to move in this direction. The transformational plan in Chicago was a $1.5 billion transformational effort. So this was a huge transformation in the city of Chicago. Adrian, a leader in that process. Adrian worked in virtually all facets. So during that 10 years, she wasn't just buttonholed in 1 or 2 specific areas. She had exposure to finance, administration, real estate, deal making. And so her experience was particularly noteworthy to the search committee, that it was broad, very broad, and CEO oriented. Adrian also has a passion for building teams and partnering with a variety of organizations in our community. And for us to be successful and to transform some of the housing that we have here in the city of Richmond to a better housing environment for our residents, this type of partnering will be a critical skill. We are convinced that Adrian will have a very significant impact on the lives of the most needy in our community and afford them better housing opportunities than they have right now. And without any further ado, I would like to introduce Adrian Goolsby, who in 1990 was identified in Ebony magazine in a featured article, Pursuit of Excellence, along with our president, Barack Obama. Adrian Goolsby.
Thank you, and good morning. Good morning. First of all, I would like to give acknowledgments and thanks to the mayor, to the City of Richmond staff, President of City Council, and other city elected officials who are here today, the RRHA Board of Commissioners, HUD officials, the Richmond School Superintendent, the Richmond Tenants Organization, and the RRHA staff for such a warm and gracious welcome. We will need all of your support as we embark upon this journey. I am honored to be here, to have been afforded the opportunity to make a difference in this precious Richmond city with all of our viable communities. I'm excited about the endless possibilities of transformation here. Not just a change of bricks and mortar, but a change in the people's lives, our children's lives, and the families who we serve here in the city of Richmond and under RRHA. I come to Richmond directly from the Chicago Housing Authority, which, like Richmond, 10 years ago, faced the same type of challenges, both socially and economically. And like Chicago, I am confident that we can and will always continue to transform Richmond's public housing and redevelopment efforts in ways that restore hope, open doors of opportunity, and equip our families with the necessary tools for success. As you may have heard before, the old adage, it takes a village. Not one woman, not one man, not one entity can do this all alone. I'm so pleased to be surrounded by an RRHA team, partners of the City of Richmond, the school system, and other areas who are truly committed to working together for the greater good of our community members. There is nothing more powerful than people in a city coming together on a united front to succeed at the goal of creating not just a top-tier city, but top-tier communities, which help generate top-tier opportunities and increase the chances of our families building top-tier futures. I am grateful and heartened by the mayor's recent $7 million investment in the revitalization of RRHA communities, Creighton, Whitcomb, and Dove Courts. We must all invest in the future of our communities and ensure that their viability is sustainable. As we begin this critical journey together, I am eager to get out and get involved in the community with RRHA staff, to strengthen our communication with RRHA community members, the various tenant councils, and the Richmond Tenants Organization. We want to search for new, innovative approaches that foster safer, healthier, stronger neighborhoods and lead our families down the road to self-sufficiency. RRHA has already created an infrastructure of success through the educational, economic development, and employment services and opportunities provided to our RRHA families today. We will continue to strengthen and build upon these efforts. So I do see a lot of success thus far, and I see even more promise in RRHA's horizon. I am so very excited to be here at this time. I thank everyone for your dedication, and I look forward to working in partnership with all in the community to transform lives and to truly make RRHA's vision, the City of Richmond's vision, and you, the people of Richmond's vision of building vibrant communities. As the famous coach Vince Lombardi once stated, we will chase perfection. While it cannot be achieved, we will catch excellence. Together with the support of RRHA partners, constituents, and key stakeholders, we are well on our way towards attaining excellence. Thank you once again for your most gracious welcome, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you in the near future. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Adrian. I think we have a winner here, and we look forward to working with her. Some of us grew up on Good Times. Anybody see Good Times? Remember Good Times? Huh? All right, and you remember the famous Cabrini Green projects there? Well, they're gone. And the famous Robert Taylor homes, they're gone. And so, Adrian, we're looking forward to the same kind of success here in Richmond that you had in Chicago. All right, anybody else? Thank you all for coming today. We appreciate it.